Update. Am I the a-hole for not inviting any of my siblings to my wedding? Original post. So I, 23, female, I'm getting married in a few months. And I have few significantly older siblings, 34 female, 36 male, and 38 male twins. All of them are now married, and since I was a teen when they got married and they had a child-free wedding, I was not invited to any of their weddings. My oldest sibling first had a child-free wedding and then the others decided to follow. When my oldest brother got married when I was 10, so sure, I kind of get not inviting me, but I was still extremely upset. My oldest brother got married to a woman I really love, and I can't even witness it? The other brother got married when I was 12, so again, sure, get not inviting a 12-year-old, but I was a very well-behaved child, and again, his sibling. My sister got married when I was 15. At first, she didn't want a child-free wedding, but all of the family members convinced her because, OMG, it's so refreshing to be in a wedding where children don't bring havoc. So she decided for a cutoff to be 16. And when I asked, can I be a one exception since I'm 15 and your sister? She said no, with a very serious tone. If we make an exception for you, what about other children? It's not fair. I got upset and screamed that what is not fair is not participating in any of my siblings' weddings. My parents got upset with me and I was grounded. And lastly, my brother got married when I was 17. At that point, I didn't care. I knew there was going to be child-free wedding, and that once again I'm not invited. I didn't ask her beg. My step-cousin who just turned 18 just made a cut and I didn't. Well, as I said, I didn't care. Sent a quick congrats and that's it. My parents got furious and why I didn't even congratulate them. I just ignored them and spent all the time in my room with my now soon-to-be husband. Since I'm getting married, I decided none of them are going to be there, since I wasn't allowed to be there too. When they didn't get the invitations, they all came to my house and demanded to know why didn't they get one. I simply explained, you didn't want me in your wedding. I don't want you in mine. I explained how hurt I was that I was not able to see any of my siblings get married, and they should experience the same. They said that weddings had alcohol, so they didn't want any young impressionable kids there. And I said, all I wanted was to be included in the wedding part. I didn't care about the after party. Mom then started screaming again about how unfair I was, and how she wants all of her kids to be together on that beautiful day, which is ironic. But I am not backing down. I firmly believe in not inviting them. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments before reading the update. Not the a-hole. It was cruel that they excluded you. Their comments about alcohol are ridiculous. It's not hard to keep alcohol away from children at events. They are making excuses. It's fair enough to have a child-free wedding. It's not only that the young children may disrupt the event, it's also about cost. Including children can mean having to hire a larger, more expensive venue and providing a lot more food, and catering is expensive. I have never heard of anyone excluding a close member of the family though. You are a sibling, not some high school friend's kid. It was a big deal that you were excluded. It was inappropriate and weird, and it's understandable that the result is you don't feel close to your siblings. Let your mother screech. It's not her wedding. You don't have to listen to her. Tell her she has communicated how she feels, and the decision has been made. Then put the phone down or leave the room. If she wanted her kids to be together, she had plenty of opportunities to make sure you were included, and chose not to. If she is attempting to be petty, she missed a good opportunity with her mom. She should have grounded her when she threw a fit, just like they grounded you when you did. By grounded, I mean not allow her to come dress shopping, to the shower, whatever you deem a good comparison. Not the a-hole, and I called BS on the reason they gave, alcohol. If it was really that, then why did they keep upping the age cutoff right to where you could never make the cut, 16 and 17, both of which are still too young for booze anyway? It's legal to drink when you're 18 here. That still doesn't explain why you were excluded at 15 when the age limit declared by your siblings was 16. You're not the a-hole, and tell your mother that if she wants a family event with all her children, she can pay for and organize it herself. She let you down as a kid when your siblings excluded you from their life events, and then she grounded you for voicing your pain. That's not good parenting. That's punishing the victim. You deserve better, and your siblings deserve to be called out for their behavior towards you by not being invited to your life event. Congratulations, by the way, sweetie. Not the a-hole. Heck, and invite your whole family. Your parents aren't innocent in this. Exactly. If mom and any other family member keep up the complaining and screaming, time to take them out the wedding too. I am so sorry this happened to you. If my siblings and parents did this to me, I'd gone low contact. If they raised hell about my wedding choices and the way they've done it and never apologized for what they did, I'd go no contact. Congratulations on your wedding. I wish you a happy marriage and for you to have a blast at your ceremony and party. Now for the update. We talked the day after I made a post. I said that the only way I'm going to invite them if they explain absolutely everything. Otherwise, no invitation. After some weird looks and silence, the truth came out. I am their cousin. My father's brother was raising me alone and died, so I was raised by my uncle. They do not know who my mother is. I was young, required a lot of attention, wasn't their sibling, so they kind of distanced themselves from me. My brother said that they even hated me sometimes. My parents sat there ashamed for not telling me. My cousin just looked awkward. I just left. We eloped. So after all the drama, we talked and realized we were doing the whole wedding thing because we thought the other wanted it. We were not against the idea of flashy wedding, but calm day with just closest people was closest to our hearts. So we did that, just us and some of our friends. We are keeping the money for our dream country to visit. My parents had the audacity to get angry that there was no celebration, but I don't care, to be honest. It was a day for us. That's it. I hope the update was not disappointing. Special thanks for everyone writing me messages, telling us that we were too immature to get married. I am their cousin. Great. That makes their actions totally okay now. They didn't want you at their wedding, but demand to be in yours? That's still messed up. And the parents, were they just going to never tell OP? They're still a-holes. Now the parents are just bigger a-holes than before. Mom then started screaming again about how unfair I am and how she wants all of her kids to be together on that beautiful day. Parents are the biggest a-holes in all of this. The siblings got their wedding the way they wanted, and then comes the OP, who cannot make decision about their own wedding, as mom wants free food, drinks, and celebration with her kids. OP should go no/low contact with these people. Not to mention the decades that no one was apparently allowed to mention OP's dad/uncle. All the fresh memories of him are gone. Those memories are now tainted by time that OP will never get back. The parents are such big a-holes. OP's going to have to do so much more work now to find out about her family. It's sad. They could have been talking about her father this whole time in a compassionate and loving way, but instead hid everything and made it a dirty secret. I feel so bad for OP. So mom wanted them to be all together for OP's wedding, but didn't try to get OP to be able to attend any of the siblings' wedding? And then a bombshell that she's actually a cousin and no one told her? And that still doesn't make it right. I think going for the elopement with her close friends and no family was the perfect answer to how the family treated her over the years, especially the parents. OP didn't say anything about how she was treated by the parents, but you get the feeling she wasn't loved as much as the other kids. Because mom did such a charitable thing raising an orphan, that the child owes them that, but her bio children don't owe her that. Mom and dad might have been trying their best raising all the children equally, but in an emotional level, there was always a difference. Can you even imagine the hoops her parents were jumping through in their brain to reconcile not telling her the truth while her siblings all treated her like trash? No, we can't tell her the truth. It might make things weird, unlike now, where they all actively despise her. So ridiculous. Next story. Am I the a-hole for telling my mother I won't pay the taxes on their paid-off home while my brother lives there with his kids? Both my parents are old enough to retire and collect Social Security and their pensions. My brother is 43 years old, has a full-time job and uses 3 of the 4 bedrooms at my parents' home. 1 for himself, 2 other rooms for his kids. My brother pays $1,200 a month to my parents for rent, when the normal rent for a 3-bedroom home in that area is $2,300 and up. My parents just paid a house off 2 months ago, and they are now asking my sister and I to help out with paying the taxes. My parents have told me I will receive 25% ownership of the house, my brother living with them 50%, and sister the remaining 25% after they pass. Yeah, no favoritism there. I asked my brother, how much do you need, so I can pay 25% of the taxes? He said, I don't know. My mother then said, your father and I want to retire. We would like you, brother and sister, to pay the taxes. I asked if the rent my brother pays isn't enough. My brother never moved out of the house and has been leeching off my parents his whole life. My mother defended him because it takes care of running errands. Then proceeded to tell me to lower the child support I paid to my ex-wife, whom I have 2 boys with. I said, let me get this straight. You want to give less to my kids, just so my brother and his kids can live a better life? Or did you prefer I take money out of my retirement account, penalties and all, to keep coddling my brother? I'm sorry, but I will not continue to enable him like you have all these years. I have my own family and bills to take care of. Now for the top comments. I don't see how it would be the responsibility of anyone neither living in the house nor owning the house to pay the taxes. Surely it's your parents' asset and the taxes are owed by them entirely. If they haven't got enough, they could downsize, as so many people do when their kids are grown, or your brother can pay more rent. I suspect this is the warm-up to them asking you to pay a share of repairs and maintenance on the property too, with the inheritance being the dangled carrot, not the a-hole. My sister and I have told our parents they should downsize so they could retire 5 years ago. But my parents couldn't stop coddling my brother. Where will your brother live? What about our grandchildren? Now that it's paid off, still can't believe they're asking me for money when my brother should be paying at least $1,800 to $2,000 for the number of rooms he's taking up. Not to mention he has admitted to me that sometimes he only works 30 hours a week, by choice. Meanwhile, I'm putting in 40+ hours with a permanent disability, which I take paid meds for daily, making sure my kids are good. I love my mother, but she has no idea what cuddling and boundaries are. I understand these behaviors are taught from a young age, so I don't blame her for not being conscious of her unconscious behavior. It's just tough trying to be kind to family who can't see the whole picture. I have a family to provide for too. That's messed up. She's okay with you providing less for your own children, so she can keep your brother and his kids housed. Your mom's quite a winner. Not the a-hole. I wouldn't either. I'd be prepared to lose that inheritance, but it's not yours to pay. Isn't that rolled into the mortgage they're paying anyway? Or is the house paid off? I could care less about inheritance. The last thing I want is to have the IRS chasing me down because my leech of a brother can't be responsible enough to pay his taxes on a home which is paid off and I am part owner of. I've even told both my parents, take me off the will. I don't want anything from you. Not the a-hole. Stick to your guns. Let your mooching brother pay it. Info, I am in the UK. What taxes are these and why would you pay it on a fully paid up house? In California, after you pay your house off, you continue paying 1.25% of the assessed value of your home for property tax. If your home is worth $500,000, you pay $6,250 per year. Property taxes vary by state. Last story. Am I the a-hole for telling a bounty hunter where to find my brother when he apparently lied and listed my address on his paperwork to bail bonds company and then skipped his court date? My 22 male brother, 35 male, has spent his life in and out of jail. He was arrested again a couple months ago for God knows what. He posted bail through a bondsman and was released. Long story short, I just happened to be sitting in my dining room eating dinner when there is a knock on the door. I open it and it's a man wearing a bulletproof vest. He looks confusingly at a piece of paper and asks, is brother's name here right now? I told him that he's my brother and he doesn't live here. The man then proceeds to tell me that my brother missed court and the bondsman is out for $25,000 and they're looking for him. He asked if I knew where to find him, and I gave the man an address for a friend's house that my brother goes to 90% of the time for parties, drugs, etc. Well, they caught him there, and now his bail has been revoked and he's back in jail. No bail bonds company will let him now, and no other friends or family can afford to give him the money. I'm sure as heck not giving him anything after the stunt he pulled. He'll just have to stay in jail until his trial now. My mom, aunt, sister, and grandma have all been blowing up my phone the past few days with messages on Facebook about how much of a terrible person I am for getting my poor brother in trouble. I'm starting to feel a little guilty now, but I don't appreciate him possibly getting me arrested or worse by lying and using my address. Am I the a-hole? Not the a-hole. All the problems her brother has right now are all he's doing. Do your family really thought he could hide forever? Or that lying and involving you in his illegal activities without your consent was somehow okay? I honestly don't know. They act like he can't do any wrong. He was never disciplined as a child, and now that mom can't save him when the law gets involved, it's somehow my fault. The judge already revoked his bond and issued a bench warrant. Why do they think the bondsman want to pick him up? The details don't matter to my family when it comes to him. It's been this way since we were kids. He can do no wrong. End of story. Sounds like there's more to the story. Like, why does family treat him like the golden child? Like zero discipline? I have no earthly idea. Definitely something that happened before I was in the picture. Not the a-hole. As someone who also has a problematic brother caused years of stress, strain, money, so much money spent for his screw-ups, and pain from all his crappy, stupid choices, you did the right thing. Your brother needs to own up to his crappy life choices, which are illegal ones that he continues to actively choose to make. It's time for him to face some damn consequences for his actions, instead of having your parents bail him out time and time again. After years of putting up with my brother's nonsense, I did something of the same as you, and he spent years in prison, and now has finally cleaned himself up. So stay optimistic that your efforts might do the same. Thank you. My mom has probably spent tens of thousands of dollars over the years on my brother's legal problems. Now she can't help him anymore. He was never disciplined when he was younger. Our mom has always covered for him no matter what it was. But now it's supposedly my fault that she can't help him anymore? Tell her that this was a divine intervention. She clearly needed an intervention from enabling your brother, which wreaked havoc on her finances, her sanity, and her relationship with you. Am I the a-hole for refusing to leave my friend's flat even though it disrespected his girlfriend's boundaries? Plus update. I, 24 female, moved abroad with my boyfriend after graduating university 18 months ago. One of my best friends from uni, Callum, 24 male, returned to start his PhD and is living in a shared accommodation block. I was visiting my family back home this weekend and had arranged a day to visit Callum and see my old uni town again, and then had planned to go to the airport from there, as it's way nearer than my hometown. Callum had offered me to crash on a blow-up mattress on his floor, and I very happily accepted rather than shell out on a hotel. When I got to Callum's place, he had invited his friends in the block to hang out, and I met his new girlfriend Hannah for the first time. They've been together a few months, but we hadn't had a chance to meet yet. I liked her loads at first, and thought she and Callum were super sweet together. I've known Callum for ages, and I'd never seen him this happy. When the group started to break up for the evening, she asked me where I was planning on staying for the night. I was surprised that she didn't know, and told her what Callum had offered. She then took me outside and asked me to please stay somewhere else that night, as she felt uncomfortable with a female friend staying in his room. I didn't really have anywhere else to go, so I said that unless she could help me with a hotel room at this late stage, I couldn't really go anywhere. She then said that I was disrespecting her boundaries with her boyfriend, and that in any case, now she was going to stay with Callum, and it would be inappropriate for me to be there. She lives in a neighboring block, so I asked her why she couldn't just return there, and she said she had a right to decide which women get to share her boyfriend's room, especially if it's an old female friend who I don't know if she's had history with him. To be clear, there was no history there at all on either side, and I told her this, but she said she had no way of knowing if I was telling the truth. Again, I refused to leave. We had arranged this ages ago, and she couldn't just undo that last minute unilaterally just because she was his girlfriend. And with that, I went back inside and we said nothing more on it. I stayed the night on the blow-up mattress and left really early this morning. I'm at work now and just got a text from Callum asking if we could call this evening, because he just got a text from Hannah saying that I disrespected her boundaries and that he needs to cut me off. He's one of my closest friends and I don't want to lose him, so I'm wondering if I should apologize. My boyfriend thinks that this is ridiculous and if anyone needs to apologize, it's her, but at this point I'm not sure. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments before reading the update. Not the a-hole. This was pre-arranged, and it's not your fault that he didn't tell her/clear it with her. She could have offered you her apartment if she wanted to stay with her boyfriend and her room was going to be empty. Also, he could have gone to stay with her if she had such an issue. It boils down to the fact that he did not communicate this to her. It's not your issue to deal with. Be honest with your friend when he calls. His girlfriend has probably not told him the full story. I think the even bigger point is that Hannah didn't communicate with Callum. Why was she the one to take Opie aside and ask about the sleeping arrangements? That's a conversation Hannah should have had with Callum, and, if he thought it necessary, Callum should have conveyed to Opie. Not the a-hole. You've got nothing to apologize for. You didn't hide anything and were transparent. If Callum didn't tell Hannah because he knew she would react badly, that's his issue. It's a pretty big red flag that Hannah's already trying to control who Callum interacts with. And if he starts cutting off people she doesn't like, I suspect even his family will soon be on the cut-off list. Hopefully someone will manage to get through to him and Hannah will be sent on her way. Yeah, and has she even said something now? It sounds like all Callum has heard is disrespected boundaries but no details, which is super weird. I mean, of course Hannah's entitled to have her boundaries respected in a relationship, but the person to talk to about that is her boyfriend. As in, hey, it makes me uncomfortable if you have female friends sleeping over in your room. Can we agree not to do that? OP, I would just give a basic explanation when you talk to Callum later. Something like, hey, I'm sorry if there was some kind of misunderstanding. Hannah came to me last night and said she didn't want me staying in your room, but it was way too late to find a hotel at that point. So I told her I couldn't. That's it. $10 says he'll be surprised because she was making it out to be some much larger thing, not the a-hole. Now for the update. Thank you to everyone who commented. I read it all. Quick clarification. The offer was never to share his bed. It was always the blow-up mattress. That's our own boundary. The building has no communal area other than a lobby, so I couldn't have slept there. Callum and I called, and I did what a lot of you said. 1, not apologize, and 2, just lay it out exactly as it happened. I even read from my post. The big surprise? He had told her in advance, and she had said it was okay. As I commented, I had assumed that they had discussed it on the night, but my later guess was correct. She had said nothing. He then said that when Hannah texted telling him to cut me off, he told her that he wanted to talk to me first about what happened, and then she ghosted him. He apologized profusely to me and said that he needed to talk to her ASAP. A girlfriend of Callum's friend, Sarah, who was there, messaged me after we called because she read this post and thought it was me. She told me that she's in a group chat with some others at Hannah, who had been ranting about how I had taken her outside to tell her that even if she was Callum's new girlfriend, I was his real girl, because I was his best girlfriend, and that she shouldn't think about coming between us, and that I told her that Callum might be hers now, but he'll always be my Callum? Sarah then told me that this happened twice before, where Hannah's told Callum that a girl he was friends with needed to be cut off, and she would then tell the group chat they had said things like, "You're no good for him, we'd be better together," etc. Sarah now suspected Hannah was making all this up. So I called Callum again and told him what Sarah had said, and he was very upset. Most of the time, Hannah hadn't really given him a reason to cut off these other girls. Just that if he respected her, he'd trust that these girls needed to be cut off because it's girl code. He talked to Hannah in person this morning, and she confessed that she made it all up, about me and about the other girls. She didn't want other girls to even be an option for him to be close to if they were going to be in a relationship. So she persuaded Callum into breaking off the friendships. And he didn't want to lose her, so he complied. Her words? "I wanted to save you from the opportunity to put another woman above me." He's not had a great experience with previous girlfriends being really emotionally distant, and I think Hannah was the opposite, in that she would lavish him with affection when he did things she wanted. Not surprisingly, he broke up with her, and has now apologized to the other girls and again to me. So, to summarize, Hannah was manipulating and lying to everyone around her in order to keep Callum away from basically any woman. Callum found out. They broke up. We're friends again, and he owes me a drink next time we're in the same country. It always speaks volumes when your partner tries to isolate you from your friends and support. More people need to listen to the deafening warning in between the lines. It's the most common form of domestic violence. It's also by far the most common form used on men by women. And it's so normalized that it's joked about regularly. There was an attempt in the UK a few years ago to make it fall under the same laws as other DV laws. But it quietly vanished as more men came forwards talking about suffering that style of DV. She would lavish him with affection when he did things she wanted. Classic control tactic / love bombing too. I feel bad for Callum. Dude needs to learn that emotional distance and manipulation are not the only two romantic options. Yikes, yikes, yikes. Hannah's behavior is just worrying, and only after a few months. Aside from attempting to isolate Callum from friends, she seems jealous and insecure. The kind of person who believes men and women can never be friends. The lying about what was said just takes the cake. Drama queen. Did you pick up the love bombing too? She would lavish him with affection when he did things she wanted? Also, you can see the subtle narcissistic vibes in "save you from the opportunity to put another woman above me." Save you, as in you need me to make a decision for you cause you need saving. Next story. Update. Am I the a-hole for throwing away my girlfriend's dad best friend's t-shirt? Original post. I know it sounds bad, but hear me out. I have been with my girlfriend for a couple years and we live together. My girlfriend lost her best friend of 10 years her senior year of college. They had gone through a lot together, but the best friend had some untreated mental health issues and she lost the fight against her depression. My girlfriend was the one who found her. They lived together at a time. This caused my girlfriend to spiral. She wound up helping the parents go through her stuff. She now has a box of old journals that were her best friends. They had a pact that if one dies, they wouldn't let anyone else read them. Too embarrassing or something. A t-shirt, some art she had done, and a bunch of scrapbooks. My girlfriend was in a dark place for a long time. I met her a couple years after the incident and it's taken time, but she has gotten better. She was and is in counseling for grief and other stuff. She used to talk about a friend constantly, but now it's down to every once in a while. Now, generally when I clean, I take stuff and put it in a bag and tell her to go through it before I throw it out. Today, I was going through our closet and was making donate/throwaway piles. I asked her to go through it when I was done, but she had a lot of work and said it was probably fine. She generally doesn't care too much about her clothes, and I think she was overwhelmed. Well, I threw out the stuff that was worn and old, ripped, etc. Then after I showered, my girlfriend came yelling at me demanding to know where the t-shirt is. I asked her what t-shirt, and she said the one belonging to her dead best friend. I asked if she lost it, and she said no, it was in the closet. So then I said it might have gotten thrown out and she just started screaming at me. I said I asked her to go through the piles, but she said no. But then she said that it should have never been in the piles, given how much she has talked about a friend and that apparently she told me the story behind the t-shirt. I don't recall it. I knew there was a story and I knew there was a t-shirt, but I never paid enough attention to which shirt. Well, she has now taken the bag to her brothers. I just don't get why she is so upset. She has all of these other things to remember her friend by. A t-shirt isn't that big of a deal. Now for the top comments before reading the update. You're the a-hole. I was on your side thinking you just honestly effed up with no ill intent until I got to your last two sentences. Yep, I was thinking exactly the same. Possibly honest mistake until you make clear that you don't even understand why your girlfriend is upset. You're the a-hole for not taking your girlfriend's own words about her own feelings seriously. Once I read that she apparently slept in the shirt all the time and he still thought it was okay to throw it away, I started to doubt it was an accident. Even if she didn't have an emotional connection to that shirt, why would you throw away your girlfriend sleeps in all the time unless it was damaged? And even then, why wouldn't he check with his girlfriend about that specific shirt? I don't believe that he didn't know what the shirt was. You're the a-hole. You went through the closet today while she was working. While she was busy and overwhelmed and you wanted her to double-check the pile. This happened today and your girlfriend informed you today that the shirt was missing. Did you go look in the bags? Did you attempt to find a shirt? You have made it clear you do not care about a shirt. In the years you have been dating her, you never noticed which shirt it was. You never paid attention to what she was sharing with you. A t-shirt isn't a big deal to you because you don't care. It is a big deal to her. Go find a shirt. He could have at least given her the weekend before tossing or donating on Monday. Who the heck does something like this and expects someone to drop everything to check within 24 hours on a weekday? And now he's being dismissive about it? You're the a-hole. Update. So with my last post, I figured I owed you guys an update. I had apologized at the time, but I didn't think I effed up that badly. At this point though, some of this stuff felt excessive. I was the one going through our shared closet because we have been doing an overall deep clean of the apartment. As far as getting rid of her stuff, I was only throwing out stuff that was clearly ripped. She was aware this was happening. I did try to get the shirt back. By the time I got out there, the trash had been picked up. I called the company but they said it was gone. After reading some comments, I called the best friend's parents. My girlfriend still goes over around the holidays. And briefly explained what happened. They said that over the past year they have been downsizing, and they went through her stuff and half got donated, but the other half was sitting in her sister's attic in a box if I wanted to ask her. I called the sister, told her what happened, and asked if there was anything she would be willing to let my girlfriend have. She said she has a couple sorority shirts that she would be willing to give her, and apparently the friend had 2 necklaces and she would be willing to give my girlfriend one. I said that would be great. I talked to my girlfriend and let her know where to send it. I drove to the brother's house to talk to my girlfriend. When I got there, I hadn't even gotten out of my car before her youngest brother and cousin came out and just started screaming at me. Her cousin said I had no right to have any opinion about a best friend, that she was some amazing person and I had been so disrespectful about her. He then said that if her best friend were still alive, she would have talked my girlfriend into dumping me years ago. I felt that was uncalled for. Her brother started telling me to go to hell, and that I was always jealous of the best friend, and that I need to get off his property. I tried to explain I was here to fix it, but he wouldn't even let me see my girlfriend. Apparently, she's in a rough shape and had to take days off work because she's having some kind of meltdown. So I left. I got home and I got a call from the sister. I picked up. And I don't know what my girlfriend told her, but she laid into me and said I was some unforgivable a-hole stumping all over her sister's memory. She said she would be more than happy to send my girlfriend the items we talked about, but to her brother or grandmother's house since I can't be trusted. A couple hours later, I got a text from her saying it's over and she's breaking up with me. Her brothers came by an hour later to get her stuff, and she's now refusing to take any of my calls. So for those who hoped she would dump me, you got your wish. I couldn't imagine breaking up with her over this, especially since we were together almost 3 years, and she can't even answer her phone to dump me. I remember this post. The OP has deleted his post and comments, but if you read the original post, you can see he had commented that his ex-girlfriend slept in that shirt a lot, so he definitely knew which one it was, and it was not a mistake. He complained that she talked about her friend a great deal, and he didn't like it. That's important context that completely changes my view of OP. Even the story from his perspective makes him sound like a monumental idiot. Honestly, it sounds like the t-shirt thing was the last straw for her. It seems like her family had disliked you for quite some time, based on UOP, which was written from your perspective, so presumably is the most flattering version of this story for you. You don't sound very considerate of her feelings. I'm also not convinced that you're telling the whole story here. I get your ex having visceral reaction to something so sensitive, and even her brother and cousin trying to be overprotective. The friend's sister's reaction suggests that you left something out of the story when you called her, and I'm betting you left it here as well. Well, breakups suck. You live and you learn, I guess. Edit. Actually, your story doesn't ever make sense. You say that you were throwing out anything that was old and ripped, but you threw out a shirt that she wore on a regular basis. Why would you throw out something that you know she actively uses? Why do you feel the need to purge her clothes at all? You sound very controlling. Opie responds to the comments further down that he thinks his girlfriend was obsessive and made her take down 6 pictures she had up in the house of her friend. He seems like he's leaving out a pretty insistent campaign of forcing his girlfriend to get rid of various reminders of her friend.